It's a happy morning. A little bit of wisdom and knowledge. A little bit of health and fitness. A little bit of creativity and opportunity. A little bit of ideas shared. A little bit of everyday skills. A little bit of fun and games. A little bit of me and a little bit of you makes Cameroun feel good as we build better together every Tuesday and Thursday on Cameroun Feeling, 6 to 9 a.m. with Patience and Bella.
It's a fabulous Thursday, the 8th of February. And you waking up and tuning in and watching Cameroun Feeling means you're alive, and it's enough for celebration. That's why every time you see me start this program, it's like it's like a birthday, it's like a wedding day, it's like something special, because we are alive, and today is that gift we are opening up. You're welcome to Cameroun Feeling. Okay, it's going to be a spicy morning, 3 hours of us focusing one way or the other on young Cameroonians, how they're excelling, how they can be further inspired. Because as I said on Tuesday, it's really about how you can inspire the person next to you, the next generation. That is, if you're 10 years or you're 20, you inspire the people who are 15. If you're 25, you inspire the 20-year-old. So it's a generational support that we need to give each other. The problem I have with our generation sometimes is that people want to remain young and irresponsible. So they're like, I'm too young to have any form of responsibility. And they escape it until they discover that they are 50 and still calling themselves youth. We don't want that at all. So we'll keep highlighting that throughout the program today. Okay, so we're going to start off with our question of the day, which is the same like we had on Tuesday. The idea is how much you can be an example to your generation and the next. So here it goes. From your experience and knowledge, what are 3 things you teach the youth to help make the next generation more successful in Cameroun? So I'm going to take it again. From your experience and knowledge, what are 3 things you teach the youth to help make the next generation more successful in Cameroun? Because I believe the idea is not to just have your success story on your own, but it's how much you can transfer what you've learned and from the mistakes you've made to the next generation so they don't even have to make those mistakes. Let's move on to our Nothing But the Truth of today. It's a deep one, requires quite some level of reflection. Here it goes. We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. It's a deep one, because some people feel disappointed if they feel like they've not created a conducive environment for the young generation to excel in. It can never be perfect, but if you invest in the young people, then they will carry on the baton of your efforts to build that zone that is suitable for them and even the next generation. So the responsibility continues to spread. That is our Nothing But the Truth of today. And when we mention today, it's time to check in on what we have on the menu for you. Delicious today on the show. You're going to love every part of this program. For example, we have Sylvanus Jack, our man on the beats, who is stepping out there in the Youth Innovation Village right here in Yaoundé to discover what young people are showcasing. So he'll be taking us through the different stands of that Youth Innovation Village, and we'll discover the expertise of young people right here in Cameroun. Beautiful to see. You don't want to miss that. And then from the second part of the program, we're going to continue highlighting the theme of this year's National Youth Day, Youth Import Substitution and Economic Patriotism for Cameroon's Development. So our special guest is a celebrated social entrepreneur and founder of a successful business-inclined school. Fortabe Elmine is going to be with us to share her experience and inspire you, the young person trying to reach your goals, because she has reached her goals and many more. There you go. That's the second half. And we'll have some AFCON talk as well, because AFCON ends this weekend. We're going to have that with Walter Wilson. Then finally, the third half of the program, we're going to talk about young people and their penchant for art and not just music as some people think. We're going to talk about crocheting, we're going to highlight spoken word, art history, and then we're going to wrap up in a special way by talking to someone who has excelled in the field of fashion design. I'm wearing what he makes. And it's important for our young people to see that you can still wear or make what is from Cameroon and excel at it. He'll tell his story. But right now, it's not time for stories. It's time for motivation, inspiration with Pastor Tofiba.
Welcome, my dear viewers, to another edition of Kingdom Echoes, where we meditate on life, eternal life, and the kingdom of God. I am your host, Pastor Alfred Tofiba. Lately, we have been discussing on the subject of leadership, and we are looking forward to a real change of governance in this world, as God promised a long time ago that Jesus, who is God in the flesh, is going to come back and to set everything in order. And my challenge has been to you, like, do you really believe these things, or you just think that it is just make-believe? The reality is that our world is engulfed in serious turmoil, and leadership is lacking almost at every level of society, even in the biggest democracies in the world. And we had examined some character qualities that should characterize a good governance, which is what God promises us. He expects us to live that way, but it seems as if it is just a far-fetched dream from any of our leaderships in this world, be it national or international. Tonight, we're going to look at one of the last qualities that we have been looking, and then I'm going to make just a short review of those that we have already looked at. What we're going to be looking at today is faithfulness. Faithfulness. What is faithfulness? Before we go into that, we had looked at the subject of justice, in which I quoted to you how Plato, long time ago, with some of his friends, trying to define justice, came with the conclusion that it's just the interest of the stronger. And we see that in our society, we see that in our world today, that the strong and rich and powerful get their way through justice, when where the poor and those who don't have enough are very well misrepresented. And governments doesn't seem to do things as right as promised or as should be. Or is there any leadership that exhibits humility or truth is far-fetched from our governance today, be it national or international? And the last time we had looked at equity, the quality of being fair or not showing favoritism or partiality. So these are the qualities that will characterize the future government into which we're going to go in forever. And as I said, today we're going to look at faithfulness. What is faithfulness? It's being certain and confident that what should be done will be done, and that it will not fail. Now, we have people today who run for office and they make a lot of promises, and few of them actually ever fulfill their promises. So, in other words, there is no faithfulness. We cannot trust and be sure that what they have promised they're going to do, in which case many are beginning to lose faith in the political system and structure because people don't fulfill what they promise. Or do people give promises just because they want to get elected, or do they really want to change the lives of the people? And as we know, the poor are always misrepresented or not represented at all, and the powerful just get their way. So we're saying, yes, what God has promised, He's faithful to do, and you can trust His word. I know that if you are not led by the Spirit of God, it will be very difficult for you to actually understand, will things really change? As you are saying, yes, I am confident that those things will change, and trust God. His system will be better forever, and such that even at a personal level, we can trust one another, or we can have faith that we can fulfill what we have said, or have faith in the system. It looks like most people are losing or have lost faith in the system of governance, whether it is at the national level or at the international level. So we anticipate and believe and hope that yes, there will be good governance in this world. And again, I always ask the question, if most of our leaders go to church or are religious people, why do we not exhibit justice, righteousness, humility, truth and equity, and faithfulness in leadership? That's a question to you. Anyone who is a leader, ask yourself that question. Do I truly represent justice, faithfulness, humility, and what is right in governance? Thank you, and see you next time.
Deep questions there, Pastor Tofi Bam.
To Pastor Tofi Bam, you take some notes and then you take time to sit down and ask all of those questions directed to yourself. Because the tendency when you hear of good governance, leadership, is to think of the government of the country, think of your bosses at work, and then immediately start believing that you're pointing fingers at the things you're not doing right. What about you asking yourself your own level of impact? Ask yourself, if you want to be a successful person, then you're automatically going to be leading other people. Why are you a leader? Why do you want to be a successful person? You have to remind yourself that it's not for yourself. The reason why you're ahead is not because you want to have the spotlight, but it's more about that light shining on something in particular that other people can benefit from. You're shining because you're there to impact other people, not just for yourself. That's selfishness is the main issue that affects poor leadership, that leads to bad governance. It's selfishness. Once you understand that if you're a leader, you are ahead to take other people with you, then your mindset will be transformed and your impact will be stronger. I think so. What do you think about that? You know, this show is a conversation between you and I. For example, right now I'm thinking of a song that will remind us of what we've just been talking about with Pastor Tofi Bam. I'm thinking of Muganjer, formerly known as Sharon, in this song, Hold My Hand, because in order to shine, you need to learn to hold the hands of other people.
Mr. Melody.
You're doing a little on your own. Or maybe even a lot. But something happens when we hold hands. When you're willing to share what you got.
Hold my hand, hold my hand, hold my hand. That goes Muganjer. Well, she was formerly known as Sharon, as you can see, but her name right now is Muganjer. If you want to listen to her music, please go on YouTube. There's loads more there for her to offer to you. Because her voice is the kind that stays with you, the kind that you listen keenly to the message and you definitely feel like, nah, this is not just music to enjoy, it's music to practice. You know, our theme of this week is, first of all, the National Youth Week, but also the importance of passing on our knowledge from one generation to the next. I said I'll highlight it throughout the program, and I intend to. There are some people who are celebrating Youth Day at 40. There are some people who are still saying they're youth at 50. And I feel sometimes when people do that, it's because they want to shift responsibility and still feel like they need to be taken care of. And that's when it gets really dangerous, because you can't be young and helpless and learning or expecting other people to do things for you forever. At one point, you need to be the one taking care of other people. And like I said on Tuesday, pass from one generation to the next. Even if you're 20 and you're a youth, you're responsible towards the 10-year-olds in your life and everyone that's younger than you. We'll continue highlighting that throughout the program today. But I think it's a good time for us to step into the zone of Did You Know? So I'll turn this way. And I will lead on to our dear Kembe Ngochi, who is going to teach us about something that maybe you've not mastered yet. And you need to, because the National Youth Day in Cameroon has been observed since 1966 with the goal of engaging young citizens to a wide variety of activities. Like you must have witnessed throughout this week, young people around Cameroon have been engaged in so much. But then this year's theme is what he wants to focus on, rightfully so. The theme focuses on import substitution and economic patriotism for Cameroon's development and progress. You've been hearing that theme over and over. We've tried to explain it the best way we can, but I think he's going to break it down seamlessly so the rest of the program will flow with the understanding of what we're highlighting on this year's National Youth Day. So take it on, Kembe Gochi.
The Youth Day in Cameroon is viewed as a national festival aimed at aligning young people with community building, national pride, and responsible citizenship beliefs. While unveiling the theme of the 58th edition of the Youth Day in the country, which is Youth, Import, Substitution and Economic Patriotism for the Progress of Cameroon, the Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, Mununa Futso, emphasized that this theme represents a political direction that encourages youth to actively participate in boosting the nation's economy through entrepreneurship and innovation, thereby reducing import dependence and enhancing domestic production and consumption capacity. He added that the government has been implementing an import substitution policy for several years, aiming to stimulate local production and lessen reliance on imported goods. This policy, he said, not only affects the trade balance but also fosters the growth of local entrepreneurship. The government believes that this year's Youth Day is an opportunity to underscore the importance of economic patriotism. This year's theme urges young people to promote the consumption of local products, support national businesses, and contribute to sustainable development, all in a spirit of national pride. Import substitution consists of reducing massive imports by developing local production and processing. The import substitution plan notably targets key sectors like agriculture, with 25% of the national territory being arable and fertile. Import substitution will increase the demand for local goods and services, which increases labor requirements, and with an increase in labor requirements, employment will rise. Plus, the import substitution strategy not only reduces an economy's dependence on foreign goods, but also provides impetus to domestic firms. For the President of the Republic, Paul Biya, to address the issue of import substitution in his traditional message to the nation of December 31 is a sign of the interest that he gives to this policy and should be perceived by young people as a call that he is making to them as major players in the structural transformation of Cameroon's economy. Youth have shown their resilience and potential despite years of conflict in the English-speaking regions, sustained periods of civil unrest and displacement, violent extremism in the Far North region, and a global pandemic with significant economic implications. As Cameroonian youth celebrate the 58th edition of Youth Day, it is incumbent on all youths in their amazing diversity to take meaningful steps to promote peace and contribute to the advancement of their communities, and also learn the skills needed for life and success in the future economy, however, leaning towards import substitution.
And on Cameroon Feeling, we try to get to the foundation of that. Thank you very much, Kembe Gochi, for that clarity established on the theme of this year, because some young people is just like, oh, Youth Day is coming. We have a week of activities and fun, no studies in class, and that's just it. No, there's a theme for a reason, to prepare you, if you're a 15-year-old and you're still in, say, secondary school, to start getting you to reflect on what it is you want to add on to your country. If you want to be a patriot, what are different ways you can exercise your patriotism, and they're introducing you to this statement or a word that is economic patriotism. What does it mean, and how can I add onto that? If you understand that from, say, 15, then you can start exhibiting that as you're growing older. You start young, it lasts longer. I've always said that. So if you have a young one at home and you're thinking, no, they're too young to discuss business and passions, practices, professions linked to how they can make money, then you're really making a big mistake. I said earlier, I'm an example, and my home started talking about finances really early, about how you can contribute as young as you are. Don't wait to get to a certain age to do it. So I think it's something that you can also practice in your homes, because it gives your children that financial intelligence that so many older people today lack because they didn't get that from the root when they were younger. That said, I think Solomon Lewa is on standby because in under 72 hours, Cameroonian youth will be observing the National Youth Day in pomp and pageantry. It's always exciting, especially when it comes to the parade. Under the coordination of the Ministries of Youth Affairs and Civic Education and Higher Education, youths from primary to higher institutions are preparing for the annual parade, which is always super exciting. Solomon Lewa was present to give us a foretaste of their preparation, but most importantly, in continuation to what Kembegochi just said, the focus on them understanding the theme of this year's National Youth Day. Take a look.
Février, c'est la fête de la jeunesse. 1, 2, 3 et fort.
Fort tous pour la paix et pour la fraternité, pour le progrès de notre pays.
The rehearsal venue might not be so friendly, but with galloping enthusiasm, the objective is to inculcate the theme of the celebration.
We are expecting to have an emergence Cameroun come 2035, as the president always says. And we know the future of every country depends on the youth. So we are ready for this celebration, the youth of Cameroon, preparing them for an emergence Cameroun come 2035.
The theme of this year has actually made us to go in deep to see how our curriculum has to tie with all these things, and because youths that are not patriotic cannot actually be economic value to the society.
Encourage the students to build up themselves. They have to be to make sure that the students are able to create job opportunities for themselves after education, because they are the youths of tomorrow, and the leaders as well. So we are trying everything possible to make sure that when you leave Zambia as a student, as a graduate, you do not go out there to be frustrated, but you are out there to, you can be able to create job opportunities for yourself and for others.
In their rigorous rehearsals, the pupils and students are conscious of what celebrating the Youth Day is all about.
When I look at the theme, I can clearly identify 3 key elements, which are youth, peace, and emergence Cameroon. Let me start by examining the youth in our society today. A youth is a person that is at the stage of constructing his or her own self-concept. The self-concept is mostly influenced by many variables, which are peers, lifestyles, gender, and culture.
I'm first of all thankful to the government that permits to celebrate our young age, and this permits us to have like a history, like to say we had something we celebrated, like this march past. I can tell my children in future that I marched in Zambia for the 11th February, and I'll be proud to say that I marched during the 11th February.
We live this life just once, and whenever I get the word Youth Day, I feel so happy, enjoyed, celebrating with our friends and everything, especially to be a part of Zambia and to take part into the 11th February. I feel so happy. It brings so much excitement to me.
With 72 hours to D-Day, rehearsal coordinators say all is ready for the celebration.
We have been having a lot of rehearsals, and even yesterday we had to join the encadreurs coming from the subdivision to teach them the coordination of the steps and the way their hands will go, and even the patriotic song has been learned by the children and they are well versed with it.
We make sure that all our students are up to date with their official wears, because that is their dressing code is supposed to be uniform, their hairstyles done uniformly. All ladies are supposed to have one and the same hairstyles, while the same men do same. And so we make sure that we provide the funds for the hairstyles for our ladies, and same for the guys.
Actually, talking about perfection, we lay a lot of emphasis on what they acquire mentally, because if actually the theme is not embedded in them, then there is no way we can move forward. So we lay more emphasis on the theme of this year in all the activities that they carry out.
An enlarged sectorial meeting has been announced for this Thursday, where a final perfection will be harmonized.
It takes practice to make it perfect. I was just talking with the team here, and they're thinking of their days of the parade. I don't think I ever got that experience, but then I always enjoyed watching other people, especially the schools that would come with shiny white stockings right up to here and straight lines to show some level of discipline, and then marching fiercely in tandem. I love that because it shows respect for your country. The ones who march by walking, I always used to be like, snare when I'm watching them on TV. Like, what's the laziness about? When you talk about you being a youth, it means you're young and strong. If you can't march, then you shouldn't be parading on Youth Day. I'm just thinking that out loud. But that said, we're sticking with our talk on the Youth Day, and we felt like we should listen to the much younger ones reflect on things that we talk about in a very intellectual way. But then there are times when their own personal opinions matter in the simplest way possible. So we're going to say no to ethnic discrimination. It's a sketch on life and peace by the Faith Baptist Protestant English Nursery and Primary School in Angisa. Listen keenly to their message because it applies to all of us. Okay, I'm hoping that we can have that right now.
Good morning, Mom.
Good morning, my child. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, and you?
I'm also fine. Greet your sisters.
Okay. Good morning, sister.
Good morning.
Good morning, sister. Good morning, sister.
Where? Alami, can't you see I'm on the phone?
Let's go and do our house chores. I don't know why sister is always on the phone, isolated.
Karen! Karen! I'm sure that this chair is on our phone. Karen! Yes, mommy. Please come. I'm coming. What were you doing? I was working on my phone. A teacher said we should be doing research on homework. So I was working on my phone. But I saw you watching TikTok and Facebook. Please help me and wash these dresses. Please help me and wash these dresses. Please help me and wash these dresses. Dear, I warn you about the phone that you bought to your daughter. It will destroy her life. Now, can you see the consequences? But she told me that she wanted to do research. That is why I bought that phone for her, because she cannot use my own phone and be working on it. I'm always busy with my phone. That is why I bought that phone for her, so that she will not always be using my phone. But anyway, I know what I will do. Okay, I'm done. I'm leaving for school. I'm done. I'm leaving for school. Okay, my child, have a nice day. Thank you, Mom.
Karen!
Lift me.
Karen!
Lift me, Anglophone.
Karen!
Lift me. Lift me. Lift me. Lift me. Lift me. Stop it! Stop for them. Karen and Esther, guys are calling for you.
Esther, what happened? As I went to her house so that since I saw the way she was isolated, I just went to her so that us and our classmates can do something and read now. She just started insulting. She insulted me and Anglophone and started fighting.
You can go back to your seat. Karen!
Yes, madam.
Karen!
Yes, madam.
You fill a 20-leaf book and you write that I will never insult my classmates nor fight with them. And I also want to tell you that, Karen, it's not good to be isolated. It's preferable to work together. So there is nothing like Anglofufu nor Francofufu. Anglophones and Francophones are all Cameroonians.
Yes, madam.
Go and say sorry to your classmates.
Esther, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
It's okay. I've already forgiven you deeply from my heart.
Youth and the preservation of peace for an emergent Cameroon. This sketch was presented by the pupils of Faith Baptist Nursery and Primary School, Angisa Yaoundé. Thank you.
They're so cute. Yeah, the Faith Baptist Protestant English Nursery and Primary School in Angisa with their message on respect. They titled it Love and Peace. It starts from the home setting, if you observed it keenly, where you have a home setting where young people are constantly on this thing, the phone, continuously. They are looking at it and most often not learning anything vital from it, because sometimes you could have a young person on their phone and they're learning, but it's usually going on social media, criticizing musicians and engaging in idle behavior. You don't want that at all. So that is the first point they raised. Another point was generally do not spend too much time on this, even if you're learning. Go out there, have fun. I remember when I was younger, you would have us go outside, play in the mud, run, exercise our bodies. But these days you see so many young people seated on one spot, playing a video game for hours and hours. How are they going to feel open and enlightened as young people if they are stuck on one thing that usually isn't helpful? Now, the second point the kids raised was about hate speech, especially in schools, where they will talk and refer to each other as Anglo-fools or Franco-frogs. Those things that sound funny to adults because we know better. But then when we say those things and our children listen to it, they repeat it. It becomes the next system of the next generation. So we as parents, first of all, have to be careful with what we say around our children, because they will take that to their different areas. So that is a point being raised. And since I'm talking to parents, I feel like we should talk about this particular book signing that happened in the Littoral region recently. Bitmia Atang Tabara is on that beat. The book is written by Elomo Jamia Mokwe. She organized a meet and greet to talk about her book, Dear Daughter, A Guide to Young Girls. Take a look and we'll discuss more on that later.
Dear Daughter is a book written by Elomo Jamia Mokwe. In her book, she expresses the care, love, and concern parents should have for their daughters.
I am a mother. I'm a mother of 3 girls, and I understand very well the journey of motherhood.
Dear Daughter has 13 chapters and 105 pages, where the author passes across a special message to the girl child.
It's for every girl child to stay focused in life and to draw close to God.
Reading through the pages of Dear Daughter, it is clearly spelled out that many things could go wrong with the girl child if she's not properly guided. But there is still hope for any young girl who has missed it.
First of all, identify your error and accept your mistakes, because it's from your mistakes that you start to grow. And when you identify your error, you have to move intentionally in order not to make the same mistakes, and you have to seek guidance, you have to seek counseling as well.
Dear Daughter is a book focused on providing guidance to teenage and adolescent girls as they navigate through life. It touches on key aspects of life which every parent would want to teach their girl child.
This book is recommended for every girl child because, firstly, as it's easy for a girl to go astray, girls are more gullible, and so in society they need a moral compass that guides them in life. Secondly, not every girl is fortunate to have a mom So this book is recommended for those who do not have the opportunity to have mothers or a mother figure in their lives. And also, I don't think that the book is just for girls. Even for us as women, we need to read this book because some of us have gone astray in life. And like one of the chapters in the book says, you can start all over. So I recommend it for mothers, for sisters, for aunties, for everyone who is interested in, getting some proper values and virtues about life, and also anyone who wants to, grab something that can help you to gain one or two moral values in life.
The biggest celebrities are those who write books.
It takes a lot to come up with a masterpiece like this. You need to choose your language, you need to choose the kind of diction, you need to choose even the form and every other details you have to be minded of. It's not easy to put all this together to come up with something that the world is going to read and learn from it. It's not all about singing, it's not all about acting movies, it's about having a copy that can educate people and also give a lot of wisdom to others who are in need of it.
Being aware of the fact that parents sometimes get too busy to follow up on their daughters, Dear Daughter is here to fill in the gap.
She's a very brave woman and I'm proud of her because she wrote a nice book and the book will help other daughters grow in the right way.
For a girl child, personal recovery and transformation is not an easy journey, but rewarding at the end. Broken women and girls usually come back even stronger and more determined than ever.
It's a very succinct and easy to read letter to your daughter, giving her directives on how to live, guiding her in decision making in your absence and enabling her to better relate with you.
Every chapter of the book gives the kind of advice a parent would want to give to a daughter.
This is actually phenomenal for her to have poured out her thoughts into this book. Not only her thoughts, but this is a guide. This book is going to be, I know, a teaching moment for many families, not only for girls, but I think that everyone should read this book simply because we are connected to a woman, a sister, a niece, and I believe everyone should be able to pull out something from here and support and contribute in bringing up and raising the girl child.
Elomo Jamia Mokwe holds a master's degree in international relations, a bachelor degree in law, a humanitarian activist, and a peace advocate. She is married and a mother of 3.
Thank you so much, Bidmia Atang Tabara, all the way from CRTV Littoral. I'm smiling listening to you talk about this book. It's titled Dear Daughter. The subtitle is A Guide to Young Girls by Elomo Jamia Mokwe, because there's just like a different school you need to understand how to raise a girl child. It's a completely different ball game altogether. It's also frantic because if you get it wrong, you're getting another home wrong, because that's why they call us women homemakers. If you get the raising of your daughter wrong, it means you have already invested poorly into another home. And that is why you need to read this book, Dear Daughter, if you have a daughter. And your daughter could read it as well. And it's also good to give this book to daughters who do not have mothers present in their lives, so they can still feel included, important in society. Because young ladies need a lot of confidence to excel in today's world. Yes, there's this whole feminism movement, but it could also instruct them wrongly on how to exist in society. For example, it's beautiful to be a mother. It's beautiful to love a man and respect him. There's nothing wrong with that. So all of these things found in the book, Dear Daughter, will have you raise a full woman who will be impactful in society, but still not lose her femininity. That said, right now it's time for us to continue highlighting young people who are excelling in different ways. We're talking about economic patriotism. And sometimes it starts by you identifying a small skill you have, making the most of it, and impacting your community. For example, CRTV East decided to put a spotlight on this gentleman, Perez Gemako Bamlopa. He is the CEO of Hot Kokishud. Now, I know many people who depend on that, buying hot coquille should, but you need to have someone provide it, and that's what he does. This young entrepreneur tells us his story and hopefully will inspire you to start small.
Unlike most youths of his age who have a comfortable sleep, Guillermo Bamlopa Perez's nights are perturbed by the fact that he has to keep his business alive and running. This 25-year-old's daily routine entails cooking at least 200 bundles of coquille, a popular Cameroonian dish from the southwest region, which is today consumed by many across the National Triangle.
J'ai essayé de représenter ma mère, elle exerçait ça depuis longtemps.
In my teenage days, I used to watch my mom cook coquille. One day, my sister felt ill and I was home alone. I cooked the meal and it tasted good. When I nursed the idea of starting a food business, I began with foods like fried chicken, breakfast delicacies, amongst others. But later on, I was advised by my relatives to do something different and affordable for every Cameroonian.
Cherche de faire quelque chose de différent. Non, on laisse, comme c'est le nom pimenté, on laisse une tête. Tout le monde vendait le poulet dans la ville. Quelque chose de différent.
That is when I decided to sell coquille at a price of 500 francs with either cassava, potatoes, or plantains. I was ashamed at the beginning, but on my first day of cooking and selling, my customers made a lot of positive remarks about the food and were impressed that it was cooked by a guy. Many collected my contact to order for the next day. Their remarks were fulfilling and satisfying to me, and that is what keeps me going.
Tout le monde appréciait, tout le monde mangeait, on me donnait du courage, on me donnait de la force, ça me motivait beaucoup.
This meal, which is time-consuming, stressful and difficult to cook, has caused the young Perez to employ 7 other youths who share the same labor, that is from buying, cooking and selling.
I'm also happy to work with him because I'm learning how to cook. I also like the way he cooks. He knows how to cook, and he's also the one encouraging me to work because I was very ashamed to be selling. He's the one encouraging me. He treats me very well. He talked to me as a boss have to talk to the employer. When we are coming late to work, it's very bad for when we are going to sell because we shall go late and we lose customers. Some days we sell 80 cookies, some days we sell 105. So you can get about 60 customers because there are some who usually take 8 cookies, others are taking 10, others are taking 15 for the receptions. The business is profitable.
After cooking, when this meal is ready, he dispatches and leads a team of sale agents around the town where most people appreciate this delicacy, coupled with the fact that it's being done by a young man.
Je mange son coquille presque chaque jour, puisque
I like the way he cooks. I buy and eat from him almost every day. My colleagues equally enjoy his food. On days when I'm too busy and have little or no time to cook, I buy and carry some home for my family members.
Dernièrement, j'ai acheté pour la maison et ils ont aussi apprécié là-bas.
This business, which started 5 years ago, has been able to provide for his mom, siblings, and himself.
On cherche une référence, un endroit où on va se situer.
I am working towards expanding my cooking business by opening a restaurant and other selling spots here in Betwa. This will enable my business to be well known by many in the town of Betwa. Also, it will save us from continuously pushing the trucks and selling under the scorching sun.
8000 pommes par jour. Donc c'est beaucoup, d'autres moins parce que les tâches sont différentes.
With a customer base that is really encouraging, with at least 60 bundles of coquille sold daily, my employees and I are able to cater for our needs and assist our families with their desire.
De nous-mêmes d'abord, la famille en général. D'avoir le courage, n'est pas.
I encourage everyone who has the idea of engaging in such a business but is hesitant because of what people in the society will say. You need to have courage and just start. There is no such thing as a woman's business or a man's job.
Tant que ça peut te permettre de manger, tu le fais.
Congratulations to you, Perez Guemako Bamlopa, all the way from the east of Cameroon. He is a young entrepreneur that should inspire you this morning. And right here with me is a young man who is equally inspiring, representing
Let's stop, I think.